So last that we left off, we completed question 5 and 6 from the chapter 5 review. Okay, so this is what we did right here. Okay, right, we solved for the ending balance as well as the cost of goods sold. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and continue on with question 7, which is a continuation. So it says right here that we're going to continue the inventory method. We're going to continue with the question from question number 5, and our method is going to be periodic, and it's still LIFO. So in this case right here, it says right here that on August 31st, we should have had a total of 1,500 toys on hand. Okay? And we know that because that's exactly what we did. We solved right here that we have our beginning. We started out, or we purchased 1,200 units, and then we had 300 units left over from the second batch. So what we're going to do here is we're going to transfer these amounts over into my inventory worksheet in question 7. Okay. So here we go. We got 1,200 and 300. So we copy exactly in the order that we see here. Okay. So then, right, so then because we're using LIFO, this is very important because we need these to, to correctly cost and calculate our cost of goods sold. Okay, so just a little friendly reminder here. And because we have this, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this section because this is going to be our calculation. Okay, and have my equal sum. So when we start our balances, we are correct, right? We got 1,500 units at a grand total of 1,604.29. So let's go ahead and create our table here for our cost of goods, for our goods available. And same thing here, we're just going to copy this information because this is our beginning inventory that we're going to be using for our goods available, right? These are the items that we need to have here. To say that this is what we started out with, okay? All right. So that's what we started out with. We started out with 1,500 units. So now let's go ahead and see what purchases we've made. Okay. So here we purchased on September 5th. Okay. We purchased 650 units at $1.65 each with a freight of 25. So here, September 5th, purchased 650 at 165, the freight of 25. Okay. So it's September 5th, 650 units at $1.65 with a freight of 25. Okay. So here, what is going to be my purchase price?
1,072.
Okay. And your total cost?
97 cents. 1,097.
Yeah, good. And then because we're doing LIFO, right, we need to calculate our cost per item. So in this case,
1.68846.
okay, so in this case, good. Okay. Then on September 10, we end up purchasing an additional 1,000 toys at $1.80 with a freight of $40. So 1,000 at 180 and $40. September 10, 1,000 units, $1.80 and 40 for free. So in this case, what is my purchase price here?
1,800.
Good. Plus 40,
1840.
1840. Bring in our cost per item to be
184.
$1.84. Good. Now because since we purchased on the 5th and then repurchased another batch on the 10th, no changes were made to that batch that we bought on the 5th. I'm going to carry that values down to our goods available. Okay. So then let's see what happened next. Next was September 12th. You end up returning 50 defective toys for a full refund. So 50 defective toys for a full refund. All right, so this purchase returns and allowances section. We are returning 50 toys. At what cost per item?
180.
$1.80, right? Because we are assuming that it's the batch that we just most recently purchased, right? Because our job is to open up every box to ensure that they all work and that they all are there. So in this case, we found that 50 of them are defective, right? So what is going to be my total refund here?
90.
We're going to get a refund for 90 items. So in this case, I may have to make my adjustment to inventory, okay? I purchase 1,000 units, but I end up returning 50. Okay? I end up, I owed $840, but I end up getting a refund for $90. Okay? So that should leave me with $17.50, right? $18.40 minus $90 to get you $17.50. So in this case, right, because I have a new quantity and I have a new total cost, right, we have to spread my cost evenly amongst the number of units we have here. So in this case, I have to adjust my cost per item because I have less of a total cost and less items to spread across. So in this case, what is my cost per item going to be?
1.84.
1.84210. All right. Good. So then let's see what is next. Then September 20th rolls around. and we end up making a purchase of 500 toys at $1.85 with a freight of 20. So $500, $1.85, and 20. 500, $1.85, and 20. So what is going to be my purchase price here?
925.
Okay. Plus 20 gives us 945. Okay. So here, right now, I need to spread $945 across 500 units. Okay. So in this case, what is my cost per item here?
189.
$1.89. Okay. So then on the 22nd of September, you end up returning 100 toys. They were the wrong color and you still didn't want it. So you said, I want a full refund. Okay. So in this case, I am returning 100 toys because they were the wrong color for a full refund. Right? Maybe you got tired of this company sending you the wrong stuff and making mistakes. So you said, no, I want a full refund on 100 toys. Okay? So in this case, I need to make a refund for 100. And how much did it cost me per item? 180? 185, good, right? So it's usually going to be the previous, the last batch that you purchased, right? So in this case, how much is going to be my full refund for? $185. Good. So therefore, we need to make an adjustment to our inventory again, right? So this time, right, we purchased 500 units, but we end up getting a refund for, we end up returning 100 units, okay? Same thing with the total cost here. We owed a total of $945, but end up getting a $185 refund. So that should leave you with $760. Okay. So in this case, we have a new total cost and a new quantity. So we need to recalculate our cost per item. Okay, so what is my cost per item here? $1.90. Okay, perfect. Even $1.90. Okay. So then let's see what happened next. Then on September 25th, we end up purchasing our last batch of inventory. We bought those 100 toys back again at $1.75 with the freight costing $5. Okay, so we end up getting those 100 back, right? But this time it was discounted, right? It's $1.75 now, and $5 freight. So in this case, how much is my purchase price here? $175 plus $5. $180. Bringing you your total cost per item to be $1.80. Good. And of course, because we saw here that we reached the end of our scenario here, right? The end of the month. So on September 30th, you should have had a total of 750 toys on hand. Okay. So that means, let's see, I can carry this value into my goods available because no changes, no returns were made for this 100 here. Okay. So now let's go ahead and sum up our totals here. We need to sum up our totals of my purchases. I need to sum up my total goods available and I sum up my total returns and allowances. Okay. So starting with my net purchases, right? How many items did I buy? 1350. Yeah, I got 2,250. Right? 1,000 plus 500 plus 100, 600. Yeah, 2,250. No worries. All right. So in this case, what's my total purchase price? $3,972.50 is correct. What is my total freight? $90. And last but not least, what is my total cost? Should be 4,022.50. Okay. 40,062.50. Right. All right. Let's go ahead and calculate our goods available. $3,600. Okay. What is my total? I'm going to go ahead and solve this for you guys. The total goods available cost is going to be $5,391.79. What was my total amount of returns. 150 units at a total cost of, what was my total refund? $275. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve for our table right here, right? We originally purchased 2,250 units at $3,972. Okay. We end up returning 100 units, okay, at $275. Okay, so therefore, that brought us down to 2,100 units. Okay, at a grand total of $36.97.50. Okay. Freight adds nothing to quantity, but it does add to total cost. So I'm going to add $90. So here I get a total purchases of 2,100 units at a total cost of $3,787.50. So $37.87.50. Okay. Do we have beginning inventory? Yes, we did, right? We're going to carry the 1,500 at the 1,604. Okay. Carry down my net purchases that I bought and calculated from above. Okay. To give us our grand total goods available to be 3,600 units at a grand total cost of $5,391.79, right? Which is what we solved in our goods available table above. Okay. So let's see. We have on September 30th, you should have a total of 750 units left on hand. 750. So in this case, how much is my total cost of goods sold? We sold 2,850 units. So in this case, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to add an extra row here. Okay. Create my running balance here. Okay. So if we're using the rules of LIFO here, we need to sell a total of 2,850 units. So in this case, which batch of inventory am I going to dip in first? The 100. Okay. So there you go. We're going to get rid of this batch of inventory right here. Okay. Which batch of inventory would it dip through next? the 400. Therefore, this is eliminated. Okay. What's next? The 950, right? We're going to get rid of the 950. Right? Okay, so now we have a total of 1,450. We got a long ways to go. So which batch of inventory are we going to dip into next? The 650. Okay, so this batch right here is gone. Okay, so we're at 21. We need how much more to sell? 750. So in this case, which batch of inventory we gonna dip into next? The 300. Right? So then now I'm at 2,400. How many more do I need to keep selling? We need to sell 450. So in this case, I only have one batch of inventory left, right? Out of my 1,200. So in this case, I'm going to have to calculate my cost per item here to see how much 450 units is going to cost me at $1.8333. So in this case, how much? 453.75. Good. 453.75. Okay. Giving us a grand total of $4,635.54. Okay. Right here. Now, in this case, too, what you could have also done here, right, is actually solve for your ending balance first. Because if you knew this, okay, by understanding the laws of LIFO, right, if you knew this, that at the end of the day, when we're looking at our goods available, right, if we're using LIFO, we're going to start from the last batch and make our way up to the first batch, right? If you knew that much, then you could have just taken a look at your ending balance and figure out, okay, I need to have 750 units, right? And looking at my batches of inventory, I know that I'm going to be left over with the first one that I started with. So in this case, if I knew that much information, right, instead of having to go through all of this and calculating, you know, all of those numbers there, right, I could have just easily just solved for this and gotten $756.25, right? And plug that number into my inventory, my ending inventory, okay, right? Hold on. $756. I think I highlighted the wrong one. All right, no, I'm right. So in this case, right, I got $756, right? And I could have easily just taken this number, right, and solved for the cost of goods sold by subtracting my goods available, right, to solve for that. Okay, this way that would have been quicker, but again, you have to understand the laws and the rules of how LIFO works. So if you knew that much, right, instead of having to go through the whole cost of goods sold, you could have just simply solved for ending inventory and boom, you didn't have to go through all of those numbers there. Okay, right? So any questions here? Okay, so here we already solved for our numbers, so we need to go ahead and journalize our conversion entry in question number 8. Okay. So it's because we're doing a conversion entry, what are we going to put here as of September 30? We need to put inventory, which in this case we bought toys. And what else? Right, cost of goods sold. What else? What else? Purchase expense and freight expense and anything else? Yes, right. We need to put our beginning inventory because we dealt with a beginning inventory. So that is something that you need to recognize here. Okay, so in this case, what was my total value of my ending inventory? Good. What was the total cost of goods sold? Good. And what was my total returns and allowances? Okay. What was my total? Oh, I'm in the wrong column. What was my total purchases? What was my total freight? And last but not least, what was my total beginning inventory? The 1,500 value. How much was my total cost there? 1604.29. Last but not least, you need to check to make sure that your journal, your total debits of $5,675.79 matches your credit for. I'm off. Okay, let me recalculate that. Okay, so let me see. This was this. This was this. And my returns and allowances was to 275. There you go. 566669, 56666979. Okay. And there you go. Total debits match my credits. Okay, and then put in conversion entry for periodic inventory purchases. Okay. All right. All right, question number 9, right, is separate from questions 7 and 8. Okay, so in this case, right, your inventory method is periodic and it's weighted average. Assume that all purchases were made on an account, okay, and round to the nearest penny. So this case, right, this is completely separate from the previous questions here. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. All right. So in this case, right, you got your on October 5th, right? We end up purchasing 800 toys at $1 each with a freight of 45. Right? 800 at $1 each with a freight of 40. So in this case, what should be my purchase price? $800. Total cost. $840. Okay. Bringing your cost per item to be $1. And did you say 184?
I did. I just guessed. That's how it was right.
Oh, okay. All right. So in this case, it's $1.05.
Okay.
Yeah.
The freight is 45, isn't it?
Is it 45? Let's see. It is. Thank you. Okay, so change that so it's 45. So that will change your cost per item to 106.
Sorry, Stacy.
No, that's good. It's fine. So 10562.
I was wrong either way, so.
All right, so there you go. Now in this case, right, that's our very first batch of inventory, right? So our assumption is, okay, well, if this is the only batch of inventory that we will purchase, then yes, you need to solve for your average cost per item. But in this case, all right, let's see what happened next. October 7, you end up returning 50 broken toys for a full refund. So we end up returning 50 of those units, okay? Now this is only one batch in inventory, so how much did it cost me? Cost me $1. So therefore, I should have got a $50 refund. Now this is what you can do. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. You don't necessarily have to do this unless you want to. But in this case, I'll do it for this one where I'm going to create my cost of goods sold table, or my goods available table, right? Now in this case, right, I purchased 800 units, but I end up returning 50 of them, okay? And same thing here, right? It cost me $8.45, but I end up getting a refund for 50. So I'm at $7.95. Okay? And I'll go ahead and solve this for you, okay? So in this case, I'm still at $1.06 or $1.06 even. Okay? Now here's the question. So since we have average costing, okay, does it matter which batch of inventory we have? Do we need to keep track of our batches of inventory?
No.
No, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to end up tallying up your totals of quantity and tallying up your totals in total cost. So in this case, is it necessary for you to build a goods available table? No, because at the end of the day, right, you make your purchases, you make your returns, you're going to figure out how much your total goods available is at the end of the day. And because if you solve for that already, then you don't need to build your table here. But I'm going to do for this one for this first example, and then the next example, we'll get rid of it. Okay? So that's our very first batch here. Okay? So let's see what happened next. October 10, we end up purchasing 550 toys at $1.25 with a freight of 30. So 550 at 125 and 30. Okay, so October 10, we purchased 550 items at $1.25 with a freight of 30. So what's my purchase price here?
$687.50.
Good. Plus the plus my freight.
$17.50.
Okay. 17.70. In this case, do I need to solve for my cost per item? No, it wouldn't matter at the end of the day. But if you want to do it for practice purposes only, go for it. Okay. So then let's see what happened next. We made another purchase of inventory, okay, of 1,050 toys at $1.50 with a freight of 50. Okay, on October 15. Okay, so purchase price. $15.75 plus $50. $16.25. Okay. So in this case, right, we know that our second batch, right, when we made our second batch, no changes were made to this. So in this case, I can carry out this value down here. Okay. Then October 15 October 15. Then October 18, we end up returning 150 toys. They were the wrong model, willing to accept a 25% discount. Okay, so 150 of those toys were the wrong model, and we were willing to accept a 25% discount. So we returned nothing. But how much did it cost me per item? Okay.
$1.50.
So in this case, if I am going to figure out how much it's going to cost me if I got 150 of those toys, right, and have to calculate them at $1.50, what is going to be my total discounted amount, right? How much I'm going to get a refund for if I got discounted for 25%. So 150 times $1.50, right? And then multiplying that by 25%.
I'm getting 150, 25. Doesn't seem right. I got 56.
Good. 56.25 is correct. So 150 times $1.50, right? And then we're only taking a quarter of it. Should give you $56.25. So you have to. It's a two-step.
Yeah.
Okay.
I missed a step.
Okay. So there you go. Now, again, I'm going to do this for this example here. We don't have 1,000. I mean, we have 1,000 units because we didn't return anything. Okay. But this time we end up getting a refund, right? We no longer owe $16.25 because we end up getting a $56.25 refund. So now we're at $1568.75. Okay. So we don't need to calculate the average cost because it wouldn't matter at the end of the day, right? We're just gonna end up adding everything up and solving it that way. Okay. So let's see what's next. Next, on October 20th, we end up purchasing 300 toys at $1.75 with a freight of $15. September 20, okay? Purchase 300 at $1.75 with a freight of $15. So in this case, okay, what's my total purchase price here?
$5.25.
$5.25 plus 15,
$5.40.
$5.40. Okay. Then, last but not least, on October 25th, okay, we end up returning 50 defective toys for a full refund. And of course, at the end of the month, we ended up with 1,200 toys on hand. So in this case, 50 defective toys for a full refund. Right? At what cost per item here?
$1.75.
$1.75. So what's my refund going to be for? $87.50. So in this case, right, my 300, right, because I returned 50 of them, decreased to 250. Okay, my total cost that I owe right now was the $540, but I end up getting a $37.50 refund. Okay. So that is it for the scenario. So let's go ahead and do what we normally do, right? Add up my total purchases here. Okay. And then I need to add up my total goods available as well as my total returns here. Okay. So start from the beginning. How many items did I purchase in grand total?
$26.50.
26. Ooh, off by 50. Hold on. Right, 550 plus 1050 will bring you up 1. Right? 1 plus 5 plus 3 is 18, plus 18 is 16, plus 1 is 27. Or in this case, yeah. In this case, I got 2,700.
Yes.
All right. And then let's see. What's my total purchase price?
$3,587.50.
3,587.50. What's my total freight?
$140.
140, bringing my total cost to be
$3,727.50.
good. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and tally up my goods available. How many items do I have available?
$2,600.
2,600 should be correct. Okay. And what's my total cost? I'll go ahead and solve this for you. Right, I'm at $3,533.75. What was how many items did I return?
100.
We returned 100 at a grand total refund for
$193.75.
$193.75. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and plug in our numbers and solve. So again, purchases, right? We purchased 2,700 units at a total cost of the $3,587.50, right? We end up returning 100 units at a total cost of this, okay? So therefore, that should decrease my values accordingly, right? And of course, freight adds nothing to quantity, but it does add to total cost. So in this case, I should have a total of 2,600 at a total of $3,533.79. So in this case, right, as we know, we don't have any beginning inventory and our net purchases is carried down. So this is where I was saying to you guys, okay? You don't need to necessarily build your cost per item table because, or I'm sorry, your goods available table, because this is what you're going to get here. Is your total goods available, it's already going to be calculated right here, okay? And once you get this right here, so let me highlight this, right? All I need to do is just calculate my average cost per item right here, right? Which I don't need this table because I don't care which items came first and I don't care which items came last. All I care about is what's available, what's my total cost, and what's my total quantity. So in this case, you don't need to build your goods available table at all because once you get this number, all you have to do is just solve for the average cost. Which, since I already built my table here, I'm going to go ahead and solve for my average cost right here. So what is my average cost per item? If I have a total of $3,533.75 with an overall total quantity of 2,600 toys.
Is it 1.366?
1.359134. So in this case, 3,533.75. So that's my average cost per item right here. Okay. Now in this case, it says here that on October 31st, you have a total of 1,200 units on hand. So that means 1,200 units. So what's my assumption here? If I had 2,600 units and I have 1,200 units left, how many units did I sell?
1,400.
You sold 1,400. Okay. Okay, so again, okay, we can solve for either or. Okay. We know that our cost of goods sold is 1,400 units. Our average cost per item is that $1.35. Okay. So therefore, equal round this. Okay. I need to figure out what 1,400 items is going to cost me if they are $1,359,134 each. Okay, so in this case, my total cost of goods sold is
1,902.
good. Okay. And of course, let's say I decided to just solve for my ending balance, right? I would get this number here, and this number could easily be solved here. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and plug our values into our conversion entry here. So what should I be recognizing as of October 31st? Anybody?
Inventory.
Inventory, right? In this case, we bought toys. What else? Go ahead.
Purchase. And freight.
What is this? Purchase what? Okay, this is supposed to be a purchase.
Return of all.
Okay. So let's go ahead and figure out what my ending balance was. Okay, so my ending balance was 1630. Okay. Cost of goods sold. Go ahead. 1902.79. My total returns and allowances.
$193.75.
Okay. Total purchases. Were my original purchase. And last but not least, my freight. Okay. Freight of 140. So here I'm going to match my debits of 3,727.50 on the left, 3,727.50 on the right. Okay. And conversion entry for periodic inventory purchases. Okay. Okay. Last problem of the day. Let's just go ahead and stick through it and okay, go through it. So question 11 is going to be continue the inventory from question 9. Your inventory method is periodic and weighted average. And this time on October 31st, you had a total of 1,200 units on hand, which we know from solving from this previous scenario. Okay? So what I'm going to do is go to question 11 here, right? And pop that value into, pop that value into my inventory on hand. Okay, so we have 1,200 units at a grand total cost of $1630.96. So once again, that will bring my total here to be the same number, right? Because this is average now. We don't care which batches came first or which batch came last. We just care about the overall total number of units. Okay. So in this case, let's see what happened next. Okay. November 5th, we end up purchasing 600 toys at $1.65 with a freight of 25. So 600, $1.65, and 25. Let's check that again. So 600 at $1.65 with a freight of 25. Okay. So in this case, what is my total purchase price here? $990. Okay. Plus 25. 10,015. Yeah, good. 10.15. So in this case, we don't need to solve for our average cost per item because in this case, we have beginning inventory. So it doesn't matter whether we make an association with this batch of inventory or not. Right? All right, so then let's see what happened next. November 7, you end up returning 100 broken toys for a full refund. How much did each item cost me for this batch? $1.65. So in this case, what's my total amount of refund I'm going to be getting? $165. Okay. So let's see what's next. Then on November 10, we end up purchasing 700 more toys at $1.80 with the freight costing $40. Okay, so 700, 180, and 40. $700, 180, and 40. Okay. So in this case, what's my purchase price here? Oops. Wrong question here, 11. What's my purchase price here? $12.60, good. Plus 40? $1,300. Okay. And then fast forward, it's now November 20th. We end up purchasing an additional 500 toys at $1.85 with a freight of 25. Okay. So in this case, what's my purchase price here? What's my purchase price here? $9.25. Okay, plus 25. $9.50. Then on the 21st of November, we end up returning 50 toys. They were the wrong color, willing to accept a 20% discount. So 50 toys, wrong color, willing to accept a 20% discount. Okay. So in this case, are we actually returning the product? No. However, how much did it cost me per item? $1.85. So in this case, we're going to be returning or trying to figure out what 50 of those are going to cost me so I can determine what my discount amount is. Okay, so I'm going to calculate 50 times the $1.85, right, to get my total cost there. And then I'm going to multiply it by 20% to determine how much I'm going to get a refund back for. Okay? $18.50 is correct. Good. Okay. Then, last but not least, on November 25th, we end up purchasing 100 toys at $1.75 with a freight of $5. Okay. So, it's November 25th, 100 units at $1.75 with a freight of $5. Oops. Okay, so in this case, purchase price, okay, plus $5, $180. Okay. So now that I've reached the end of my scenario here, right, I'm at November 30th, and we have a total of 600 toys on hand. Okay. So in this case, all I need you to do is just sum up your total purchases and sum up your total returns. Okay. So let's go ahead and do the purchases first. Purchases. What is my total amount of items that I purchased?
$3,350.
Oh, without the beginning. So 600 plus 700 is 13.
Oh, 1,900.
Plus 5 plus another 6 is 1,300.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No worries. 1,900. Yes. No worries. So then in this case, what's my total purchases? How much did I buy my items for?
Is it 3,350?
30,350. Okay, what's my total freight? 95. So then that will bring my total cost to be 3,445. Right? What was my total returns? How many items did I return?
100.
100. At what total cost was my refund? How much did I get a refund for?
183.50.
183.50. Good. So now let's go ahead and plug in our values into our worksheet right here. This column here to solve for our total goods available. So I purchased 1,900 units at $3,350. Okay. I end up refunding 100 of those units for a total of $183. Okay. So therefore, that should decrease your values to now 1,800. Okay. At a total of $3,166.50. Freight, once again, adds 0 to quantity, but it does, this $95 does add to the cost. So right now I have a total of 1,800 units at a total cost of 3,000, at a total cost of $3,261.50. Okay. We have a beginning inventory, right, of the 1,200 that we carried over from the previous scenario here. Okay, costing at a total of $1630.96. Okay, and we're gonna carry down our net purchases that we sold for from above to get our total goods available. So how many items do I have right now?
3,000.
3,000 at a total cost of $4,892.46. So here I can solve for my average cost per item because I have my total quantity and I have my total cost. So in this case, what is my average cost per item here?
$1.6302.
1.6. Nope, that's fine. Let me expand it. 1.608. Wait, 1.63082, you said? Good. So in this case, we know that at the end of November, we had 600 units left. So my assumption is I must have sold how many units?
$1,240 or 1,400? 2,400?
2,400. Good. Okay. So again, however you want to solve it, whichever one you want to solve first, it doesn't matter. Oops. Right? So, how much is it going to cost me to solve for both? Right? This is what I got here. So, okay. So that's my ending balance. Sorry about that. So I have my total cost of goods sold to equal $3,913.97, and of course I can solve for my ending balance this way, right? I get $978.51. Okay. Easy, easy this one, right? You don't need to have so many complicated tables in this one. All you have to do is just go through the motions, collect all the information you need. So your purchases and your purchase returns. And of course, if you have beginning inventory, you just carry that in. You don't need to build another table because your only thing that you need to do is when you get to your goods available, you're just solving for your average cost right there. So in this case, much more simpler. Right? So let's go ahead to answer the very last section here, which is going to be completing our conversion entry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste from a previous question here. And this is for November 30th. So what is my ending balance in my inventory? My ending balance in my inventory?
978.
978. Mm-hmm. Cost of goods sold? 3913.97. Okay. My total returns and allowances?
100.
Well, that's the quantity.
Sorry. 183.50.
183.50. My total purchases?
3,350.
3,350. Total freight?
95.
95. And last but not least, my total beginning inventory?
1,200.
That's the units.
Oh, 1630.96.
1630.96. Double confirm that your total debits of 5,075.96 matches your total credits of 5,075.96. Any questions in regards to the Chapter 5 review? So we've got to see a look at every single costing method. So FIFO, LIFO, and weighted average, which includes purchase returns and allowances. Any questions?
No.
All right. So